What is going on, my creatures of the night? It is good to see each and every one of you again. I am so sorry that I have not talked about this album in 3 goddamn years. I actually didn't give this album a full proper listen until recently. Um, I don't know. I thought I wasn't going to be able to get into this album for such a long time, but recently I told myself, I'm Depeche Mode is one of my favorite bands. I have to listen to the album, man. So yeah, 3 years ago, Depeche Mode put out an album entitled Spirit, and I have indeed had the chance to listen to it, finally. And I was wrong about this album. I thought this was going to be one of their worst albums. I thought this was going to be I thought I just wasn't going to be able to get into it. But the album, in its entirety, it's beautiful. It has a beautiful production element to it. It takes elements from Violator and Songs of Faith and Devotion, which are my two favorite Depeche Mode albums of all time. Um, like the album's got that it's got like that synthwave, uh, dark late '80s, early '90s, melancholic, at times industrial kind of vibe that Violator possesses. Or even Ultra. It's got a bit of that Ultra feel, which was another great album. But it has more of that like modern 2010s, more of a modern sound uh, included into that vibe. Um, Especially on certain tracks on the album, like Cover Me. Cover Me almost reminded me of Clean, the song off Violator. But it also had some gospely, bluesy, dark, grungy, goth, romantic elements that Songs of Faith and Devotion had, especially on songs like Eternal and Poison Heart and even Your Move, which I loved. On top of like all of that, you can really hear that this album isn't just like they're not trying to be a nostalgia act despite like the age and how long they've been around. They're not really sticking with what works. They're staying true to themselves, using the elements that make fans like me fall in love with their sound. But at the same time, they're trying to build somewhat of a new sound and have that relevance still. And they do that on almost every album, which is crazy. Um, I did like the use of the almost indie sounding guitars, very echoey, reverbed out type of guitar sounds. It does add that modern touch um, to a lot of their sound and mixes well with that synthwave industrial production used mostly on the album. Some of the songs that I liked off Spirit were Cover Me. That's a beautiful fucking song. Your Move. The Worst Crime was really good. I liked Where's the Revolution. Eternal was a really good song. So Much Love was really good. Songs I didn't really like were Going Backwards, Scum, and probably Poor Man. But the thing with this album is like the lyrics are oftentimes beautiful. It does take me back to that to their early '90s to early 2000s songwriting, which was very deep, beautifully spoken, always hits you in the heart. I'm not a huge fan of political stuff, and that's why I kind of shunned away from the album at first. After hearing Going Backwards, I figured they were going to be diving into that whole political element. But after listening to the entire album, it's not entirely political. Maybe two or three songs dive into that, and the rest is actually quite beautiful and oftentimes romantic. Even Martin has some time to shine on this on songs like Eternal, and his voice is still one of the loveliest. He gives the song a different vibe than Dave would. Both are incredible in terms of vocals, though. Again, my favorite song has to be Cover Me. It's just beautiful. It took me back to that early '90s dark, melancholically romantic vibe that Violator had. Just an awesome song altogether. Again, my least favorite song would have to be Poor Man or Going Backwards. I don't know. I just couldn't get into that type of sound. Or not so much the sound, more so the lyrics. I think it's cool that they tried writing some more political stuff. I just don't think it's really them. But Going Backwards, I'd have to say, is one of my least favorite off the album. All in all, this album is surprisingly better than what I expected it to be. It spoke to me on many different levels. It added some new Depeche Mode songs to my favorite Depeche Mode catalog. Um, Again, it spoke to me on very different levels, which that's what I loved about their older albums. Like, it's very hard hitting and quite beautiful. Um, in terms of Depeche Mode's more recent releases, let's say the past 10 to 12 years, it's one of the better albums for sure. Delta Machine, I feel, was a bit better, but Spirit again had some really beautiful vibes to it. Definitely top Sounds of the Universe. I did not like that album. But yeah, this album was really well done. The production was incredible. Lyrics were at most times beautiful. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought that I would, and I'm glad that I actually gave this album a chance. It's always good to hear Depeche Mode putting out new music, and they're doing so good. Like, still in this day and age, it's crazy. But yeah, obviously, for those who have watched my old videos, that you've known, eventually I'm going to finish my Depeche Mode discography of album reviews. So this will be added to the list for sure. I'll definitely dive into more of their albums in the future. Thank you guys for watching. Rock on.